probably about 5,000 questions to ask you tonight over here to your right. When did you hear that you were going to be coaching tonight, and what was it? I mean, you've done it before, but was it different this time on the short notice?
Yeah, I was putting the minute sheet together, about to walk out for the national anthem, and Steve called me from his house and said, "Mike, you got to get out there for the anthem and coach." So right before tip off. No, no, Steve called me on his way in about 4:45 and said he just wasn't feeling well. And he said, there's a chance that he may not be able to coach tonight. And, we've done this drill before. And so I said, okay. And he came in, he tested. I get a call back at 5:15 saying that he's out. And so that's the time that I found out.
Like he said, there's probably like 9 questions, but I kind of want to ask about Wiggins defensively late. It seemed like he made a bunch of stops individually. What did you just think of him late?
No, Wiggs was fantastic. This game reminded me of game 2 in Memphis. Just kind of an ugly, grinded out game. We weren't really making shots. I thought, we moved the ball well enough and we spaced the floor well enough to where we had some great looks. They just didn't go in. And so the one thing that I felt we just needed to do was just stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And if we did, with the way that we were defending and rebounding, Wiggs had 10, Draymond had 11. One of our biggest keys in this series was we don't want to give these guys extra possessions. And so with Wiggs stepping up and doing that, it helped us. It gave us a huge advantage, and our guys stayed with it. And then we made enough shots and free throws down the stretch.
Mike, how would you describe the first half and the final minute?
So when we went in the back, Chris DeMarco, he said, Chris DeMarco, he just out of nowhere, he says, punch 42, dive 52. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, we just kept handing the ball off to the fullback, left and right. And then at the end of the game, we kicked the field goal to win it. Hell of a football game, and that's what it was. But that's playoff basketball. Sometimes it's grimy, sometimes it's gritty. And for me, I know that again, it shows it because they turned it into that in game 2 in Memphis, and we lost. And so they turned it into it again tonight, especially with Ja out, and our guys just found a way. So I'm so proud of them, with our leader and Steve being out with COVID right before the game. And Draymond emotionally, he's our emotional heart and soul. And for him to get hit with something, that impactful, that not only was it tough for him, but we felt it. We felt it as a group. And so it was a tough night for us. But again, hey, at this point in the year, you win ball games. It doesn't matter how you get there, but you win ball games. And we found a way to win tonight. That's why I'm excited.
Mike, could you talk about your emotions today or the last 24 hours? Congratulations, by the way, on the new job, and just what it was like to have that and have a lot on your mind, and then all of a sudden get this news and go through this.
It was an interesting day for me. Obviously everybody knows what's going on, and so going through that process while still trying to get ready for the game, and then finding out not only that, I love Draymond, and when he hurts, we all hurt. And so that was tough on me personally. And then to find out Steve was out too. And it was an up and down or emotional day for me too. But again, all of our guys, Kenny Atkinson, Bruce Frazier, Chris DeMarco, Jama, Decky, all of our coaches were fantastic. And I said this before when I took over for Steve, Andre Iguodala doesn't get enough credit. I mean, Andre, I know he's not playing, but just his voice, his presence, he's always saying the right thing. It uplifts all of us. And for me, it uplifted me. I told him, I told Draymond, I said, I need you guys tonight. I need you guys tonight. I'm going to lean on you guys. And those guys stayed steady the whole game. Andre on the bench, obviously, and Draymond on the floor. And we found a way. You could do that when you have Steph Curry and Clay and JP out on the floor.
Mike, you guys did take better care of the ball in the second half.
Yeah.
Was that how key was that? And also, did you think it was just a matter of time for some of those shots to fall, even though Clay's weren't, falling as much. Everybody else kind of picked it up.
No, and Clay, no, I wouldn't. Clay hit a big shot for us in that deep corner. It was huge. And that kind of got us going a little bit. So I felt eventually we're too good of a shooting team. And, the times that we took care of the ball, we got some fantastic looks. And I take those looks with all of our guys at any time. And eventually I thought they'd go down. I just wish that they would have started going down sooner,
Mike, I've two questions for you. One, kind of following up on the offense. After last game, you guys were really emphasizing like shot selection, and that's what helped lead you to that such a great shooting night in game 3. Did you like the shots that you were getting, and it was just a matter of them not going in?
Early on, I thought we were we were playing a little frantically, and again, I felt that we've done that before in these playoffs. We've been pretty frantic to start the ball games, and then we settled down. The one thing that I worried about was when we forced the issue turnover wise, driving into their length and their athleticism. That was something that we didn't do a lot of in our last game. And so, when you drive that ball into the teeth of their defense, they collapse so well. They got active hands. They get out to our shooters and they make it tough and turn us over. Once I felt we figured that part out, then we get good looks. And we did. I thought past that first quarter into the second quarter and even the third and the fourth quarter, we got some pretty good looks because our guys just hit singles.
You kind of alluded to my second question. As you said, you guys have gotten off to some rockier starts this series and last series. What needs to happen to not fall behind so early on?
The biggest thing is just taking care of the ball. It's defensively, it seems like our guys have been pretty locked in. Getting after their missed shots or getting after the boards has been pretty good. We've just, had a few unforced turnovers that gave them confidence and kind of took away from our spirit a little bit. And then we rushed some shots. And so if we can figure that out for 48 minutes and instead of a shorter time, then I think we'll be fine.
Otto Porter Jr. has kind of right here. He's kind of been like a unsung hero coming off the bench. Just what have you thought about him, over the last 2 games? He was the first one to hit a 3 after the team missed the first 15, and that kind of seemed to move things along.
Yeah. Otto, his feel for the game, his intelligence is at a really high level. And, we always feel like we can plug him in as a starter. We can plug him in coming off the bench, and he's going to give us size. He's going to help us space the floor because of his ability to shoot. He's going to take care of the ball. But the biggest thing, he can guard multiple positions. And if he's guarding a bigger guy, he's great putting a body on a body and keeping his man off the glass so somebody else can get it. So the versatility that he brings to the table for us is much needed, especially at his size, because we play small a lot.
I guess Steph on TNT after the game, I joked that some version of they were shooting like the Kings or turning into the Kings. How much teasing did you get? And you probably don't want to answer this question because you want to talk about this team, but you're up there. Why was the Kings the right opportunity, the right moment for you? And are you going to miss some of this too?
But just to be fair to their organization, I and our organization right now, I want to focus on this. And when that press conference comes, I'll answer any question that you want me to answer. But yeah, we got a lot of jokesters on the team, and I'm okay with it.
Mike, I don't know if this is too early to ask, but is it definitive that you'll be wearing the head coaching hat for Game 5, or in theory, does Steve have enough time to clear protocols to join you guys in Memphis?
Steve, if you're watching, get healthy quick. I don't know.
Hey, Mike. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Second of all, you mentioned that some of the vets really helped out tonight, such as Andre and Draymond. I'm curious, what specifically did they say that really resonated?
Well, it may not be 1 point or 2 points that they said that turned the tide. It's just, their calmness, knowing that it's a long basketball game. There's no need to panic. Let's do what we do. Move the ball a little bit better, come to a jump stop here, box out there, push the ball with pace and get to the corners. Just little reminders like that, things that we've been talking about the whole series against this team, to have veterans like Andre and Draymond that have been through, the highs and lows of many playoff series. When they're reassuring the guys of that, it gives everybody else confidence, because we're playing guys right now that haven't been as far. So again, their presence, their voice, their calmness, their reassurance, all that stuff equals a lot for our group, especially with Steve being out.
And you talked about how frenetic and hectic it was when you sort of found out Steve would be out. What was that like for you, just taking over the team on this game, on this stage with so much on the line at this point? Just what were the emotions around just sort of the entire thing?
Yeah, obviously there's butterflies, because again, you're going into the game with a certain mindset, and it's a big game. Every game that we play at this point in the year, it's huge. And so, to have that kind of thrown at you, you got to switch gears, because I know what my responsibilities are going in as Mike Brown, the assistant coach, and it changes. Now you have to manage everything and not necessarily manage, the specific things that you were asked to do before game time. So I had to change hats quickly, and like I said, give Draymond, give Andre most of the credit, but our staff is phenomenal. Kenny Atkinson, Bruce Frazier, CD, Becky, everybody was great. Jamma, they all were terrific the whole game.
Mike, two questions for you. Did you have any conversation with Steph, like we kind of need you to get going, like in between the third and fourth quarter? And what do you think he figured out to be able to come through in the fourth?
No, the great part about Steph, he's got to be the easiest superstar to be around. I don't, I worry about him because I hate to say it, I don't know if he has a great memory, and which is fantastic. You need that in his position, because he missed shots that he can make in his sleep. And so because he doesn't think about it or think about the past or dwell on it too hard, he always thinks that the next thing is going to happen in a positive manner for him, whether it's a made shot or the right pass for an assist or him cutting back door at the right time to score a bucket. He's always that confident because he thinks next play all the time. And so I didn't say anything to him because just being around him, I know that he's always thinking about how can he help the team next? How can he help the team next? And that's what it was tonight. He got free on a pin down and knocked down a big three for us late. And then obviously right place, right time in terms of the box out, gets fouled and goes to the free throw line and knocks, 6, 8, whatever it is, free throws down in a row. So he'll always be there, in my opinion.
Mike, yesterday, Steve had said this is like a classic young versus old, playoff series between Memphis sort of being youthful and inexperienced and you guys being experienced. With that said, was this one of those last 5 minutes of the game you were just saying, stay close and our experience will take over and their inexperience will show, because that's kind of what it looked like?
Yeah, anytime you have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole on the floor, and then, a guy that if he wasn't hurt, he would have been defensive player of the year, and Draymond Green on the floor too, good things can happen. So if it's a 1 or 2 possession game down the stretch, whether you're down or you're up, you feel pretty confident. And a lot of it, yes, has to do with the playoff experience that these guys have, but their talent and their IQ is, in my opinion, is second to none.
Great. Thank you. You guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh. Clay, there was so much going on today. Take us through hearing that Mike had taken the job with Sacramento, then obviously the tragedy of Adrian Payne, then knowing that Steve was out. What were you guys kind of ricocheting all over with emotion? Was that what was it? What was the feelings like going into this game?
Yeah, it was an emotional day. Prayers up to Adrian, his family, and Draymond. I know they played together. It's just a terrible loss of life, and his legacy will live on. But it's just a sad day. Really happy for Mike B, though. I mean, he is going to do great things for Sacramento, and I mean, his head coaching record for Warrior playoffs game, I think, is undefeated. So we did miss Steve a lot, just his voice, his presence, but we've been here before. I mean, 2017 when Mike took over and we rolled off a lot of wins. So I reflected on that a lot. And just a up and down day as far as emotions were going.
What do you make of Steph in the fourth quarter tonight? Just Steph being Steph?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, me, him, and JP, the shots weren't falling like we wanted them to. But that's just Steph. He has that mindset where he is the best shooter of all time. And it just takes one good look at the rim or the free throw line. And when that happens, the floodgates open. And we stuck with it tonight as a whole. And I'm very proud of the way everyone competed. And during this time of the year, some days are going to be ugly as far as offensively, but we really got gritty on the defensive end and willed it out.
Play for most of the night, you and Steph had a tough time getting your shot, but in the fourth quarter, it kind of changed. Did you have a feeling that because you guys were able to stay close, that your experience and your know-how would maybe make a difference?
Yeah, definitely. I had a feeling we were going to win the game when Bain hit that tough shot at the end of third. Just we willed it to 4, and I just knew we were going to win the game. I just had a feeling, and it was ugly, but At this time of year, all that matters is that win. And I'm so proud of everyone in this organization for how we fought tonight. And even though they're missing their best player, they still had a great record without him, and they play very good defense. And just a gutsy performance all around tonight.
How comfortable are you feeling with Steph's walking to the line several times in the final minute?
I mean, I think I speak for everyone in that arena that we're feeling, very comfortable. He's a multiple free throw champ, and I think he's probably over 90% for playoff career. So that's the one guy. I mean, we got a few guys, but you do not want to send him to the line.
Mike credited Andre and Draymond specifically as leaders or whatever, help him get through this. Did you notice them? Were they saying more? Was there real leadership shown?
I think so. They always have conversations on the side, just talking hoops, talking defense, and Andre has been such a great presence for us this year, not only for the young guys but us, the coaching staff, and Draymond's one of the most intelligent minds on the basketball court. So I know they were probably bouncing ideas off each other, and it worked out.
Hey, Clay, where were you when you found out Steve would be out tonight? What was your reaction? And did he deliver a message to the team like over the phone or?
I was just in the facility, and I think it was at shoot around this morning. And we missed Steve. He's our leader, but Mike B, we're lucky we have a coach like Mike and Kenny Mike B has so much playoff experience, and so, Kenny does as well. So give our whole coaching staff credit. They really did a great job tonight.
Hey, Clay, when you have a game where your shots aren't falling, what do you draw from to be able to just provide an impact on the game and still stay resilient?
Yeah. Obviously playing hard defense, getting on the glass, and making them when they count. So, no one likes shooting 6 for 20, but we won the game, and I know myself, and I'm bound to bounce back.
Clay, you guys obviously got the tough Grizzlies team without John Morant. What did you see in those last few minutes? Did you think that they kind of missed Ja a little bit? And now going back to Memphis, where they gave you 2 tough games, what are you expecting just out of them going into Wednesday?
Of course they miss him. But the guy averages like 30 a night. Gets a lot of tough buckets. They definitely miss him. And I just think Wednesday is going to be the hardest one yet. It always is, the closeout. And we're going to have to put this one behind us and think of a good game plan.
What did you think of the crowd's regular reaction to Dylan Brooks? And do you feel at all that maybe that booing kind of coaxed him into some tough shots? He obviously had a pretty bad night from the floor.
Possibly, but our fans are passionate, and they will let you hear it if you have wronged them. So I guess good job, Dub Nation. Nice. Good stuff. Oh, man.
Hey, Andrew, tonight obviously was a struggle for most of you guys. There are a lot of things going on, a lot of emotions going. What was it like before the game? I mean, obviously with Draymond dealing with the Adrian Payne tragedy, and then, Steve being out, and Mike coming in. What was the pregame feel like?
There's a lot going on. There was a lot going on, but we came together as a team, and we fought through it together.
Was there, because you guys were able to stay pretty close, even though you weren't playing well, did you sense that your experience and your abilities would eventually be able to win out?
Yeah. We didn't shoot the ball well. But our defense was okay. Our defense was solid. And, as long as we kept the game close, coming down the stretch, Steph made big plays. And we fought for that win.
Steph, pretty basic question. What was your reaction when you heard that Steve was tested positive and that Mike was going to be coaching this game?
It's been a wild day all the way around. We had some. You just had to kind of figure it out on the fly and understand. We've been through this before. Guys that were here in 16, 17. With coaching his back problems back in the day where he was out of the lineup, but still had an influence, and Mike B stepped up. So we didn't really have a lot of time to react. So just come with the same approach. Understand we know what the game plan is, and then go out and try to execute. We obviously didn't for 3 quarters. Defensively, we were solid. Just offensively, just couldn't get anything going. And then gutted it out.
Steph, 2 questions for you. Is there anything unique about the purple shoes? And is there something you figured out in the 4th quarter?
Nothing figured out. It's just don't let the first 3 quarters influence the fact that we still had a chance to win the game. Shoot the shots you think you can make. Play aggressive. Take care of the ball. We did all of those things. We were able to get enough stops. That guy in the corner was unbelievable down the stretch, taking on that challenge. So just understand we've been here before. Whether we won or lost, the intentions of how we could give ourselves a chance in the 4th quarter was all we focused on, and then got it done.
You
shocked the system a little bit.
You were yelling something at Draymond when he got that tip block on Jaren to close it. What were you saying to him?
I don't know what the transcript was. It's something to the effect of, that's what you do. And every opportunity we have to appreciate his greatness on that end of the floor, especially at this stage, that's what it's all about. Offensive avalanches are loud and then the crowd gets into it. But when the defensive stop seals games and you get to enjoy those moments, that's, if it hits a little different, especially when you see that fire come out of him. So I don't know what I actually said verbatim, but it was something to that effect.
Oh, there's a lot of emotions going on before the game. Then you get the coaching change. But yet you guys, even though the offense wasn't where you wanted to be, you did enough to stay in the game. Was there a sense that your experience and that you guys would find a way to figure out a way to pull this thing out all along?
Yeah, just staying with it. Like I said, defensively, we kept them at bay for the most part throughout the game, and still were our worst enemy a little bit with rushing in the first 6 minutes on offense. There are times our shot selection and missing shots affected our transition defense, but for the most part, when you come into a 4th quarter with no flow offensively and you're still within, 3 or 4 possessions of coming back, that feels there's some motivation behind that. And then, like you said, we've been here before. We know how to pull off games like this, whether it happened or not. It's about just how you approach it, and we made that happen.
Steph, how much do you appreciate what Mike Brown has brought, during these times to step in and do this on the postseason stage? And also, he said there's been some good-natured razzing of him since yesterday. Some good jokes going down on him taking over the Kings.
His track record, obviously, as a head coach, he's coached in finals before, coached some high-powered teams, some big market teams. He's been through it all. Been with us for these last 6 years, and he's been interim coach for a little bit and made his presence felt, especially defensively, leading us this year. So he has a good presence about him, a great way about him. I know Coach talked about it, I think this morning, about what he's meant to our team and to that coaching staff, and just maybe the way that they approach it all year in terms of everybody having a voice and us being able to hear that throughout the year. It makes situations like tonight a little bit easier of a transition. He had a lot of good words tonight. I don't know, it's in history if you've been named the head coach of 2 teams in 24 hours. So he's continuing to set some trends.
Steph, Steph, that one liner you said on TNT after the game, you guys, something to the fact that you guys felt like you were maybe all turned into the Sacramento Kings or some
Y'all
version.
misheard that. I was saying because Mike was the coach, it felt like we all got traded because there was a lot of talk about him being the head coach. And obviously all of a sudden now he is the head coach of our team tonight. So it wasn't about how we were playing. It was about just the vibe of Mike Brown as the head coach of the Kings. And all of a sudden now he's the head coach of 2 teams. So gotta get that straight.
Yeah, it's good save.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So my emotions are kind of all over the place now. I'm kind of losing that emotion for the game, from the game. So I'm going to go home and just sit on my podcast and talk because I can pause that and cry if I need to cry. I don't like to cry in front of people. What I will say is Hazel and I are going to donate $100,000 to a fund in Adrian's name. I call on my Spartan family, Coach Izzo, Magic, Jaron Jackson, Miles Bridges, Matt Ishbia, all of my Spartan family to come in and let's do something in honor of Adrian. If that's naming something on their campus after him, if that is some scholarships for some kids for Dayton, whatever that is, I call on my Spartan family to band together and do something in Adrian's name. And so I'm going to go home and talk about Adrian. And I'll talk a little bit about this game, but I can do that at my own speed and at my own pace. I apologize. I will give you guys the greatest press conference after Wednesday's game, but I just don't have it in me tonight. I truly apologize. Y'all have a good one.